Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Small Fjords.
It's so small! Small Fjords is designed by Franz Benno de Long and is published by Grail Games, who helped sponsor this video.
Let's head to the table and let's learn how to play. As always, you'll begin by setting up. Each player will select a color and take their 20 Vikings and 4 Longhouses. You'll then find the 3 landscape tiles with the blue backs. These are your starting tiles. Place them together as so. The remainder of the tiles, the ones with the green back, are set off to the side. They'll be used as your draw pile for the game. You'll choose a first player and you're now ready to play. Small Fjords is played in 2 phases. The exploration phase, where tiles are added to the play area, and the settlement phase, where Vikings claim those various tiles. Let's go over each of them. In the exploration phase, players will take turns placing tiles. On your turn, you'll take a tile from the draw pile and add it face up to the general play area. The tile must be placed so it touches at least 2 tiles, and all terrain must match. The additional placement rule is that the tile cannot create a second landmass, even if there was an opportunity to join the terrain on a later turn. After placing the tile, you'll have the opportunity to place one of your longhouses from your supply on top of the tile you just placed. The tile where you place a longhouse must have a plains green area on it. Once placed, the longhouse cannot be moved or removed. Now, it is possible that a tile you draw cannot be legally placed. If this happens, you'll discard the tile face up next to the draw stack and draw a new tile. You must place a tile on your turn, so it is possible for you to discard more than 1 tile a turn. On a future turn, you may select one of the face up tiles rather than drawing from the top of the face down draw pile. The other note we'll make is you can only discard a tile if you cannot place it in the play area. You cannot choose to discard a tile if you don't want to place it. The exploration phase will end at the end of the turn when the last tile is drawn from the face down draw pile. This means that some set aside tiles may not be placed. You'll also want to make sure you place all your longhouses, as if they're not placed by the end of the exploration phase, you'll simply lose them. Now, the player who did not place the last tile will begin the settlement phase. Here, you'll take turns placing your Vikings. On your turn, you'll place 1 Viking on a vacant landscape tile in the general play area. The tile you choose must be directly adjacent to a tile with one of your longhouses or one of your Vikings. This tile must not have any other Viking or longhouses on it, and it has to contain plains and be connected to one of the previously placed tiles by the plains. Here's an example of a valid placement and an invalid placement. If you cannot place a Viking, your turn is skipped. Both you and your opponent will keep playing until both players have skipped their turn. This triggers the end of the settlement phase. At this point, the game ends. You'll tally the Vikings of each player, and the player with the most wins. If there is a tie, the player who went second in the settlement phase wins. Are you playing solo? Let us tell you about it. The setup is the same, however, once you begin the exploration phase, there's a few differences. When placing a tile, only one side needs to touch another tile instead of 2. Now, if you cannot or do not want to play a tile, you can set aside a tile into the reserve. There can only ever be 1 tile present in the reserve, so you must place that tile before having the option to set another tile aside. You can still place longhouses as you would in a 2-player game, but now, after placing a longhouse, you must also place a Viking on every tile surrounding the longhouse. The tile must be adjacent and must be connected by plains in order to do so. Tiles placed next to longhouse later in the game will still receive a Viking immediately, so each longhouse can have a maximum of 6 Vikings around it. Now, if you run out of your own Vikings, you'll switch to the other color. Once you've placed all the tiles, you'll score. You'll receive a point per Viking, 2 points per Viking that is not of the color you've started with, 1 point per tile in your longest connected shoreline, and finally, you'll lose a point for each tile with water that's not connected to another tile with water. You'll tally your points and compare it to this table. Will you be able to achieve the ultimate score?
And that's Small Fjords.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. We'll get back to you promptly and answer them.
And if you found this video helpful, give us that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, because we love to talk about board games, and especially with you.
Now, for our question of the day, if you were to create an island, what would you name it?
Ooh.
Would you name it after yourself? Maybe somebody you know? Maybe your dog?
Yeah. Ours would obviously have to be called Kovray.
The Kovray Isles.
No, just Kovray.
Oh,
Real punchy, you know.
I guess so. If you want to learn more about this game, check out the descriptions down below. It is coming to crowdfunding. You can learn much, much more there. And with that, thank you so much for being here.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye!